So, good day everyone. Here's the Group 6 report all about gendered livelihoods and diverse global contexts. So, first we have empowerment. So, empowerment implies people that both women and men are taking skills or having their own skills and knowledge recognized, control over their lives by setting their own agendas, gaining increasing their self-confidence, solving problems, and developing self-reliance. It is both a process and an outcome. So, second, we have woman empowerment. So, the word to empower means to authorize, delegate, or give legal power to someone. The feminist movements resulted in feminine conscientization against patriarchal subjugation. So, feminine conscientization, consciousness raising, and critical consciousness. Second, we have patriarchal subjugation. It is a general structure in which men have power over women. Second is a society controlled by men in which they use their power to their own advantage.
Let me introduce myself. I am Danza Mendoza and here's my topic: feminism and women in gender and society. Feminism is a social and political movement that advocates for equal rights, opportunities, and representation for all genders. It seeks to challenge and dismantle gender-based discrimination, stereotypes, and systemic inequalities that disproportionately affect women and other marginalized genders. Women's role in gender in society has evolved significantly over time. Historically, women have faced various forms of discrimination and oppression, including limited access to education, employment, and political participation. However, through feminist movements and activism, progress has been made in advancing women's rights and achieving greater gender equality. Feminism recognizes that gender is a social construct and that societal expectations and norms can limit individuals' choices and opportunities based on their gender. It aims to challenge these norms and create a more exclusive and equitable society for all genders. Feminism also acknowledges intersectionality, which means that gender intersects with other aspects of identity, such as race, class, sexuality, and disability. Intersectional feminism recognizes that different individuals may face unique forms of discrimination and oppression based on the intersections on their identities. The goals of feminism includes: number 1, gender equality. So, kibaw na tatanan kung unsa duni ang gender equality, which is ang pagkapantay-pantay in each individuals or gender, like okay ra ang trabaho sa babae ang part sa lalaki, and nanajud bitoy ka ng equality or kanang patas na jud siya. Gender equality, feminism seeks to eliminate gender-based discrimination and ensure equal rights and opportunities for all genders. Number 2, empowerment. Feminism aims to empower women and other marginalized genders to have control over their lives, make choices freely, and pursue their goals and aspirations. So, balik-balik din siya, like, ang empowerment. So, most of ito siya nga dapat tagaan og karapatan sa ang mga babae. Let's normalize the equality of every gender. Nga pwede rin sa ang babae sad capable sa siya nga mo lihok as kanang sa trabaho sa panlalaki. Challenging stereotypes. Feminism challenges harmful stereotypes and expectations placed on individuals based on their gender, promoting diverse and inclusive representations. Number 4, ending violence and harassment. Feminism works towards ending gender-based violence, including domestic violence, sexual assault, and harassment, and creating safe environments for all. And then number 5 is the equal representation. Feminism advocates for equal representation of women and other marginalized genders in leadership positions, politics, and decision-making processes. It is important to know that feminism is a diverse movement with different perspectives and approaches. While there are core principles that most feminists agree upon, there may be debates and disagreements within the movement regarding specific strategies and priorities. Thank you.
Gendered institution and rural livelihood. Livelihood strategies are influenced by access to and control over assets, access to markets, information, and organization, effective management of vulnerability, and interaction of these policies at the global, national, and local levels. So, rural livelihood is a complex structure comprising of mostly agriculture, with part of population diversifying into non-farm activities in order to attain a sustainable livelihood to get better income for your household. So, gender lens investing can include funding women-owned businesses with a strong track record of employing women, or companies that improves the lives of women and the girls with their products and services. So, gendered institutions are the total pattern of gendered relation, which includes the following: stereotypical expectation and interpersonal relationships, and the division of labor along lines of gender. So, a gendered institution is one in which gender is used as an organization principle. Men and women are channeled into different and often differently valued social spaces or activities, and their choices have different and often unequal consequences. So, there are a growing number of people working in this field, so many of whom have slightly different definition, but we start by considering investment through a number of gender frames of lenses.
Hi, I'm Trisha Gail Punay. I will be discussing about gendered institutions and rural livelihood. Livelihood strategies are influenced by access to and control over assets, access to markets, information, and organization, effective management of vulnerability, and interaction of these policies at the global, national, and local levels. Gender lens investing can include funding women-owned businesses, businesses with a strong track record of employing women, or companies that improve the lives of women and girls with their products and services. Sarah Kaplan and Jackie Vanderberg of U.S. Trusts wrote of the practice that women launching and expanding ventures around the world have an estimated collective credit gap of $320 billion. The difference between the capital they are seeking and the credit to which they have access, which creates a major opportunity for investors. There are a growing number of people working in this field, many of whom have slightly different definitions. We start by considering investments through a number of gender frames or lenses. The relationship between gendered and rural livelihoods is a complex and multifaceted topic that involves examining how social structures, cultural norms, and institutional practices impact individuals based on their gender in a rural setting. Gendered power dynamics within institutions may influence decision-making processes related to agricultural practices, resource management, and community development. Examining who holds decision-making authority is crucial for understanding the dynamics of rural livelihoods. Understanding the interplay between gendered institutions and rural livelihoods is crucial for fostering inclusive and sustainable development in rural areas. It requires a holistic approach that considers the diversity of experiences and addresses the root causes of gender-based disparities.
The gender lens requires a focus on the following factors, which is asset, markets, and risk vulnerability. Applying a gender lens reveals that economic and social development is determined by power relationship between men and women. It highlights how a gender bias can lead to systematic unfavorable treatments on individuals based on their gender, denying them rights, opportunities, and resources. The first one is asset. Challenging capital to women as leaders and entrepreneurs, especially in areas where they lack access to capital. For instance, rural areas in developing countries. Considering that women entrepreneurs and ventures capitalists are unfunded and often discouraged, there are a real opportunity to tap into the value that women can offer to society and the economy by prioritizing or targeting new investment flows to women-led organizations. Example for this is, or for example, Marian Ventures aims to address the systematic underfunding of female entrepreneurs with a specific focus in the technology sector by finding and funding the next woman-led Microsoft, Apple, Alphabet, or Facebook. Uh, Next one is market. Broadly speaking, uh, gender lens invests seek to promote gender diversity while meeting investors' risk and return objectives. For with the majority of public strategies focusing on women in leadership. Metrics for senior management and boards of directors. The last one is risk and vulnerability. Getting the gender lens right is essential to ensuring that the work of trade and gender contributes to the sustainable development goals.
The phrase mental health is used every day, from being the subject of news reports to coming up in casual conversation. However, do you know what mental health casually means? Well, mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, act. It also helps determines how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. Mental health is important at every stage of life, from childhood and adolescence through adulthood. There are three main types of well-being. Psychological. Psychological health, aka mental health, is defined as a person emotional or psychological well-being. The psychological well-being definition and mental health definition go hand in hand, that they both involve the emotional, behavioral, and social health aspects of the person's life. Second is, what is social health? Social health is a term that refers to the ways in which people create healthy and positive interpersonal relationship with others, with one another. Having good social health helps people improve their emotional well-being and feel supported in their daily lives. Lastly, the emotional. Emotional health is about how we think and feel. It is about our sense of well-being, our ability to cope with life events, and how we acknowledge our own emotion as we those the others. It doesn't mean being happy at all the time. So, these three main types of well-being, the psychological, social, and emotional, is help people nga makatabang sa daily life sa ato. Through psychological, naay ka ng mga differences sa mga kuana na. Through anxiety, pwede na sila mo kanang deal anag anxiety, depression, and so the emotional og social if walay support ang people or ang mga nas iyahang palibot. So, if naamoy ka ng if na may maagian or na may kaila nga ingana nga mga problems or sa ila man lang, try to approach them para mahibaw sila kung kanang para makahibaw pod mo nga kanang saon pagsulbad, matabangan ninyo sila ana.
Mental health also certainly refers to emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how you think, feel, and act. So, ang kaning mental health kay mag-base ni siya sa kanang kung unsay imong nilihukan, kung unsay imong nabati, and kung unsay emotion nimo sa palibot nimo. And factors such as stress, genetics, and life experience can impact mental health. It's essential to prioritize self-care, seek support when needed, and be aware of signs of mental health challenges. So, kanang tanan man siguro kay naman siguro tayo mga mental health issues. So, para ni siya ma-prevent, you need to relax and kanang lang, don't think negative more to siya. And one of the examples of mental health is depression. So persistent feeling of sadness, hopelessness, and lack of interest or pleasure in activities. So like ang kaning depression is magkuan ko nga like sa school. So mga college students karon kay kanang mostly depressed gid siya kay kuan man like busy sa mga school works and daghan og buluhaton jud and maka-affect gid na sa mental health gid sa usa ka tawo. So para ma-prevent na siya like maglingaw-lingaw ka, like mangita ka nga something ma-relax ang imong mind and kanang di ka maka-affect sa ubang tao. Like kung depressed ka, like kuan init kay mong ulo sa usa ka tawo bisag dili siya ang imong giinitan nga na ba or ato siya. Thank you.
Emotional health versus mental health. Mental health deals with behaviors that relate to the mind or brain. Related problems that develop are typically the result of chemical imbalance in the brain. So, this issue may include anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, disordered eating. So, if makadungog ganit ang mental health, na makakuha yun sa ato, makakos sa ato ang brain. Like, magkunahuna ka, like overthink. Makakos yun na siya anxiety. So, ang emotional pod, lahi na siya, magkuan ka ba ka lang, dapat i-control nimo imong mga emotion. Emotional ug mental health, murag pareha sila pero different ang meaning. So, mental health refers to how someone thinks, feels, and responds to things in their life. Emotional health, on the other hand, is related to how someone deals with personal, relationship, stress, and experience joy. Naay mga sign that you will be struggling with emotional health. Kani mga sign kay sleep problems, fatigue, isolating from friends and family, change in eating habits, reduced work or school performance, relationship struggles. So, signs that you may be struggling with a mental health disorder include mood swings, thoughts of suicide, feelings hopeless or in despair, sleep problems, withdrawing social or isolating. So, if maepektuhan imong mental health, maepektuhan po na ang emotional health nimo. So, dapat magtarong ka og tulog, og di kaayo magsigig overthink para dili makakos og anxiety.
Good day everyone, I am Nerlin and I am from Group 6 and I am here to discuss the given topic to me, which is emotional health and mental health. So first, let me define what is emotional health and mental health. So emotional health is how people manage their thoughts, feelings, and emotions through ups and downs. And mental health is all about how people think, feel, and behave. So, murag same la sila, right? So now, let me discuss the difference between emotional health and mental health. So, what is the difference between mental health and emotional health? First is that mental health is broader than emotional health. The scope of mental health is far wider than that of emotional health. According to CDC, mental health encompasses our emotional, psychological, and social well being. Second is that processing information versus expressing information. Emotional health and emotional well being are about how we manage our emotions and impact our emotion have on us and the people around us. For example, if someone loses his or her job, they might feel angry, betrayed, afraid, disappointed, devastated, and etc. Someone with poor emotional health might give in their emotions and react in a negative way. This could include lashing out to their boss or loved ones, or becoming despondent and withdrawn. This kind of behavior creates a negative spiral that can lead to further difficult situations and painful emotions. And while someone with a good mental health might experience all the same feelings as above, bisan healthy imuhang mental health, pag ikaw ma-fire ka or something sa imuhang work, ma-feel jud ka nga, ay, kanang, what's wrong? What's wrong with me? Kanang, nganong ako, nga na, maka-question gyapon ka daw. But, however, they can acknowledge these feelings while keeping them in perspective to not get out of control and make the situation work. So, pag healthy ang imong emotional health, makahunaw na ka og in a positive way, like kanang makaingon ka nga sige lang, okay lang, mangital na lang kog laing work, instead nga masuko kasi yung boss, like instead man ka nga kanang ngano ako man jud, ngano ako man tangtango nakay kasok sa ko or something nga makag-worse pa sa situation nimo. And neither of these examples has to do with the person's understanding and processing of the facts. What are some examples of emotional health and mental health? First is curiosity. Being curious about your own mind is one way to start actively engaging with your own emotional health. This can be simple thing as, why do I feel or react this way? Anong ing-ani man ko, like, kuntahay, on ka nga kanang, ala nga nung nasakitan man ko nga, kanang, wala raman to dapat, something nga na. Next is that sharing feelings appropriately. Having someone to confide in can have a massive benefits with your emotional health. If you have someone you're close with, like a close friend or family member, then reach out to them if you're ever beginning to feel overwhelmed. So, pag feel mo yung overwhelmed ka, doon lang sa imong close friend, best friends, or lang sa imong parents, families, na kanang you believe na trustworthy sila. Next is that noticing and facing emotions when they arise. Identifying emotions when they arise can be a great way of diffusing that emotion and coming to terms with it. For example, next time you feel yourself getting angry, try and take a step and actively think about how you want to react in that situation. For instance, na kay classmate nga naglagot na jud kay ka sa iya day. Tapos kanang imong hunahunaon nga kanang dapat ba ako magpada sa akong kalagot? Ako man ang madaot, akong name ang ma-ruin if magpada ko sa akong kalagot ug ako siyang awayon. So yan na.
How to tell if someone is struggling mentally or emotionally? People often have different symptoms when they struggle with emotional or mental health issues. While it's possible for people to suffer from both at the same time, one is typically the underlying issue. However, how can they tell the difference? Regarding behavior, people who suffer mentally may withdraw from friends and family members. So this makes it harder to understand their problems. So when people face mental struggle, it can mess with their thinking and makes it harder to explain what's going on. People with emotional issues may struggle with healthy boundaries and might be co-independent on their loved ones. So when someone has hard time with their emotions, they might find it tough to set boundaries because they struggle to express their needs. So being overly dependent on loved ones can happen when they rely too much on others for support, which might be because they are afraid of being alone or always seek validation from others. So next, if you suspect that someone you love is suffering mentally or emotionally, it's vital to encourage them to seek treatment. Doing so can improve their overall health lifestyle. So, seeking help from professionals can give them the right to support and tools to feel better. Next, mental health disorders can cause symptoms of emotional distress that persist for long periods or occurrence cycles. So, the symptoms of emotional distress are sometimes severe and may develop into mental health disorders. Some symptoms of emotional distress include feelings overwhelmed, helpless, or hopeless. So, if these feelings stick around, it might be a sign that it's turning into a more serious problems, and seeking professionals' help could be important. Thank you.
So guys, let's proceed the next topic. It's about the gender and labor. So gender labor is the work of bolstering someone's gender authenticity, but it is also the work of crew-producing someone's gender irony, transgression, or exceptionally. So based on my study, it focusing on the work that women do in relationship with transgendered men, especially the work that they do to validate and celebrate their partner's masculinity. But gender labor extends beyond the work people do to achieve our own gender coherence. So it also describes emotionally, physically, and sexual or caretaking efforts aimed to suspending self-focusing and helping others that achieve the varied forms of gender or recognition they long for. So, thought gender labor is both given and received by all people, and that author argues that it weighs down most heavily on the feminine subjects, that people for who caring, sex, and other labor of our love are naturalized, that expected or forced. So about naman sa gender and politics is also called, what means in politics is a field of study in political science and gender studies that is aims to understand two relationship between people's gender and phenomena in politics. So it means gender, it involves the study and analysis of power dynamics, societal norms, and discrimination based on gender. It encompasses issues such as gender equality, so women's rights, LGBTQ plus rights, so and the impact of society. So it's expect on that individuals of different genders.
Good day everyone. My topic is all about history of female senator. The first female senator elected in the Philippines was Geronima Picson, who reaped the third largest number of votes during the Philippine senatorial elections of 1947. During her senatorial terms, Picson headed the Senate Committee on Health and Public Welfare and the Joint Congressional Committee on Education. Number 1, Eva Estrada Calao was the first woman to be re-elected as senator in year 1965 to 1942. Second is Nikki Kusiting, was the youngest senator during the 19th and 18th Congress. She was first elected in 1992 and then re-elected in 1995. Third is Lauren Legarda, is the first Filipino woman senator to top the Senate race twice in 1998 and 2007. She also became the first Filipino woman to become majority floor leader of the Senate. She was also the youngest senator during the 11th Congress. Then fourth is Pia Cayetano, is the youngest woman elected senator in the Philippines history of the age of 36. She was elected in the year 2004, then re-elected in 2010. She returned to the Senate in 2019. Then fifth is Loe Ejercito Estrada, became the first spouse to Joseph Ejercito Estrada to be elected in Senate. She served from 2001 to 2007. After her husband's removal from the presidency in 2001. Sixth is Leticia Ramos Shahani, became the first Filipino woman to become President pro tempore of Senate in 1993. Then seventh, Santina Rasol is the first Filipino Muslim senator of the 18th and 19th Congress in the year 1987 to 1995. That's